Hello, I'm Rebekah. Welcome to Old News. Today I'm here with Kiera and with Kalli. Each of them come from the 1700s. Now, Kiera, where exactly do you live currently?
I'm living in France at the moment.
What about you, Kalli?
I am living near Boston with my family.
Okay, now that everybody's introduced, let's get into the Columbian Exchange.
Old News!
I've heard about these new crops recently, things like corn, potatoes, tomatoes, squash, and this thing, tobacco. Apparently, it can cure your diseases.
Well, we can talk about tobacco more later, but I actually brought some other things that you were mentioning.
Oh, this is a potato, right? The thing that poor people eat?
Yeah, that's a potato.
Yeah, I grow these back on my farm. They're actually really easy to grow.
Well, potatoes and corn were very popular and made people live longer and healthier lives. Unfortunately, relying too much on these plants caused some not-so-good consequences.
Consequences?
Well, yes. In Ireland, the poor were very dependent on potatoes because of how cheap and easy they were to obtain. Unfortunately, during the mid-1800s, a plant disease infected more than half of the potato crops in Ireland. Due to this, people could not eat and supplies were getting more and more expensive. Ireland's population eventually decreased by at least 2 million, and half of those starved to death, and the other half even fled the country.
Oh crap, that's terrible.
Maybe I should focus on some other crops.
Well, yes, it was devastating, but Ireland's economy is now thriving today, and they have the 25th largest economy in the world as compared to how things were before. America has also changed a lot with Europe's herd animals becoming more prominent.
I've heard that the colonies didn't originally have horses, pigs, and cows. Is that true?
It is.
It's crazy how much can change in people's lives within such a short period of time.
Yeah, horses make everything so much more convenient. Like, they can pull plows and carts and stuff.
Yeah, well, the Native Americans were greatly impacted by the arrival of horses, too. They were able to hunt larger animals a lot easier, and some even had advantages over their enemies that didn't have horses.
You know, I have pigs and cows back on my farm, too. Does that turn out okay for America?
Well, yeah, the introduction of meat into people's diets allowed them to live longer, just like it was with the plant. Do you need a hat?
We think you do.
Here at Fashionable Hat Store, we have all the newest styles.
Just like this one right here, the Regent. It's all the rage in the new world.
So come on down.
Oh, were those people talking about the beaver skin hats? I've heard about those. I thought about getting one for my husband, but they're just so expensive.
You have a husband?
Yeah, she's like 14.
Okay.
Anyways, my father has one of those hats, but he prefers the Wellington.
The Wellington?
Yeah, haven't you heard? It's one of the newest fashion trends in France. My cousin's actually a merchant, so he gave us a discount on it. Actually, come to think of it, he's been doing really well lately.
Well, I'm not surprised. The Columbian Exchange caused the Commercial Revolution, which was the extreme rise in wealth among merchants and lower classes of people while overseas trade thrived.
Come to think of it, I have seen a lot of merchants lately selling their foreign goods. It's really been helping the towns and cities grow.
Well, of course it has. Additionally, the widespread availability of these merchants and their goods created a need for competitive prices, which then eventually led to capitalism. There was a pretty significant effect of the Columbian Exchange on Native Americans, though.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of them sick recently. Like, less and less are around every day.
It's an unfortunate truth. It is estimated that about 90% of all Native Americans died from the diseases. They were able to spread from travel across these merchants that we're talking about.
I've read that it's the old diseases that haven't been a problem in a while, like smallpox and measles, things like that.
Yeah, natives didn't have the built-up immunity to the diseases like those living in Europe did, allowing asymptomatic spread from one place to the next. This actually leads us into our next topic, which is the slave trade. The original plan of Britain was to use the Native Americans as their slaves for free labor. However, the death of all these natives led to a renewed need for someone to work this free labor. And unfortunately, that role landed in Africa. The transatlantic slave trade was devastating on Africa. The conditions were terrible, and every person transported was ripped from their homes and families. The only way they could have hope was through embracing their culture, leading to music genres like jazz and the blues.
Recently, there has been a lot of conflict between Britain and France over the Ohio River Valley. I just don't understand why the French want it so bad. It was ours first.
Well, it provides a huge access to different trade ports. It's very beneficial to own.
But the thing is, we had it first. You snooze, you lose.
You know what?
Ladies, chill. This was a conflict for a ton of people. A war actually happens about it in a few years. Well, your time, that is. The French and natives had joined together to fight the British on this very issue. And I'm sorry to tell you, Kiera, but the British won.
What?
Take that.
Anyway, why don't we go back to our previous topic earlier, tobacco. Before the discovery of the New World, nobody smoked. It wasn't really a thing. However, when it was discovered, it turned out to be very addictive and became a cash crop throughout Europe and the Americas.
What? My father smokes those cigar things. I thought they were good for him.
Well, not quite, no. But up until about the 1960s, people believed smoking was fine and actually good for you, like you said. But nowadays, we know that it's very bad for you and it can lead to many deaths.
That's terrible. I need to make him quit.
Well, it's not that easy. Europe and the colonies were able to make a ton of money off of this product because it's hard to stop using. Europe especially gained massive amounts of wealth due to the Columbian Exchange. Well, everyone, that's it for today. See you next time for another episode of Old News!